Ewing is this writer who's primarily, I learned of when he wrote this 2-issue series for Marvel called, come on Spinny Wheel, Captain Britain and the Mighty Defenders. And what sort of blew me away about this book was that in the span of just 2 issues, he made me care about these characters, which, I mean, doesn't seem like that big of a feat. Any good writer worth their salt should do that. But this is like a reimagined Marvel going on. And so, for instance, we had a 2-page origin of Iron Man that completely changed the origin of Iron Man and made me care. The reason I picked up the book was because Alan Davis was on the artwork, and I love his work. But my God, the story that I got out of it was something else entirely. Because like I mentioned, in just 2 short issues, he made me care and really changed what the stories were being told were like. So, as I did a bit of research on this Al Ewing guy, whoever the heck he was, I discovered this, saying that a book he worked on, he's actually an English guy, a book he worked on was called Future Shock. And Future Shock was this series of short stories where the only limits to the stories you could tell were that they had to be 4 pages. 4 pages only and have a twist ending. So like you had a very limited amount of time to like crank something, make people interested, and then just throw them off the table. And so once I learned this, it really made more sense about why this guy's writing was so sort of engaging. What I also thought was neat was that he mentioned Will Eisner. Will Eisner the Spear, because he too was making pages that were traditionally, stories that were traditionally 8 pages long. So again, not a lot of time. So this idea that Will Eisner, who was telling complete stories in 8 pages, then Ewing here telling complete stories in 4 pages, that was really pretty cool, because I do know that for a lot of the Marvel comics we see, it seems like writers sometimes are writing for the trade, meaning sometimes they're trying to like maybe take an issue that's only worth 2 issues or so and like build it out to 4 issues or some action. And this Ewing guy didn't seem to cut into that too much. He was making stories that were interesting, and while he was, what would I say, very quick in his setup of things, he knew how to get you engaged. He didn't waste time. You've got like 1 page here. The end of the world is approaching in this particular issue. 1 page, 4 panels, minimum of text and stuff, but you still see something very true about each of these characters that's going on. And that's what really has sort of blown me away about a lot of his writing, is how quickly he gets to the point. And even like I would say, in the reading I've been doing of him, it reminded me a little bit of Steinbeck even, if I like elevate him so high. Because I remember this quote I saw years ago about Steinbeck saying, I work and rework my stories until I get like the most emotional impact out of the least amount of words. So I just make you feel it quick. And that, again, sort of made me think about this scene where you've got this page, again, 1 page, 4 panels, not a whole lot of words. You see somebody saying these alien names, John Tack, Garnow, your names are known. And come to see, that you've got actually, come on, this alien is on this dead planet reciting the names of every person who has been killed on this planet. And just those 2 pages, you get this, solemnness going on. Again, minimum of words, fairly minimal number of panels, and he just makes it work, and you feel it. It really impresses me. So Ewing's ability to keep things brief but have maximum impact blows me away. Like this 1 page from the Mighty Avengers, I've always sort of been at odds with the Avengers, because I'm like, Avengers, well, if you're avenging something, that means you screwed up somewhere, and somebody got, something negative happened to them. So you have to avenge them. So how much can avenging be a good thing? Luke Cage in 1 page makes me believe in the Avengers here. When he's saying things like, let's bring it up here, because one of the other things I enjoy so much about Ewing is his use of voice. He really makes the characters seem unique. So you've got things, anyone who's ever served as an Avenger, we've spoken that word. Hell, it's a competition to say it, to shout it, because it is that sacred to what we are and what we do. And that word is assemble. And you sort of see this theme through a lot of Ewing's work about the importance of being together, of working together, of lifting each other up across a variety of books. It's really pretty cool. So as you can see here, when we come together, we're stronger than when we stand apart. That's what it's always been about. We come together to fight what can't be fought alone. I've never, like I said, I've never been that big into the Avengers, but this made me believe in the Avengers, because this is going on. In one page, he defined the Avengers in a way that, you know, made sense to me, you know. We are all Avengers. You are Avengers. Oh, and like, and this panel here too, I think is sort of a genius panel in a way. I know it's Greg Land, right? You've got, you know, our Luke Cage, our main hero, amidst the people. All the other figures are bigger than him. And at the same point, they say, you know, yeah, you know, when we make the effort to help those who need us, to help each other, to be there for each other, we are all Avengers. You are Avengers. There's some powerful things like this in this short series that I'm really kind of disappointed. It only ran about 15 issues. Which kind of ticked me off a little bit. But anyway, one of the other things that makes Ewing's work, again, this particular arc that's so great, is that with Marvel Comics, a lot of the time, New York City is really the center of the world for Marvel Comics. And everything seems often written from, you know, not surprisingly, a pretty typical white male dude voice type thing. So having this old Spanish woman saying, "Fascista, no pasaran, no pasaran," and there's no subtitles, there's no telling you what the heck she's talking about as she, you know, throws bricks at an alien and it gets everyone else chanting this. Hell, I had to do research and look up what the hell does no pasaran mean, you know? It's, what was it, from the 1930s. 1930s, during the Spanish Revolution, no pasaran, they shall not pass. And it was like this rallying cry. Really, really cool. So with a small 2-page sequence, Ewing sort of makes the world bigger. You know, he's got this other characters with history, and he's also got humor though. Because then he says, no pasaran, no pasaran, Avengers assemble. You know, because like, you know, let's say it, you know, what is it, sing out your little words again, see what happens. Okay, and then Avengers. So, you know, and the thing that amazes me is that, like, for instance, with this particular book of the Avengers, there were none of the main Avengers characters you normally see. It was mainly people of color. It was predominantly women. It was not your typical Avengers team. And it was so refreshing to read and be like, oh my God, thank you, Al Ewing. And then to come to find out that Al Ewing is like this 44-year-old white Englishman, it's like, God, okay, you are a freaking good writer, man, because one, you're across an ocean, and you're writing these people who sound so real and so contained, like they are unique individuals, but they're speaking things that very much can connect to anybody. I just enjoyed the heck out of it. So, I also really like what he does for the end of each issue. Each issue is around 22 pages. There are certain writers who are good at suspense. There are certain writers who are good at like character development. Al Ewing is good at the final splash page reveal, teaser, surprise shock that makes you want to enjoy the next issue. Such as, you know, when you end with lines like, you know, come with me if you want to be awesome. That is fabulous, you know. Or somebody else saying, no, I'm dying. And that's where the issue ends. Or of course, yes, for Asgard, we die like gods. Powerful stuff. And what even makes this particular issue great is that Odin and his wife have spent most of this issue trying to find this apparently like mystical weapons that are going to help them defeat some big enemy, and they turn up with these massive guns. Interesting, in a way, which particularly will be interesting considering what we're going to see coming up further. So like I said, what I do also enjoy about Ewing is his ability to surprise and throw twists at us. And that seems to apply whether he's writing a story about a sort of space noir. Like if anyone has seen Guardian of the Galaxies, you know Rocket Raccoon. It's mainly played for humor a lot of the time, but in Rocket, it's like a classic film noir, but yes, the star is a talking space raccoon. It's amazing, and again, makes you feel invested in the characters, even when you find out his ex-girlfriend is a space otter. You know, it's amazing. So whether you're talking, you know, space noir, or for instance, too, he's got this other book he's written, I think it should be the next one, Jennifer Blood, which is a different writer's creation, but it's like suburban mom revenge fantasy. And again, quickly gets you invested and like feel and believe these characters. Very interesting. I want to keep myself on track because I know I got a lot I want to tell you all about why Al Ewing is so great. And this is one of the biggies right here that I've so much enjoyed about his work. The secret to everything I write, and the one thing I always make sure of, is tone. I keep coming back to this, but it's the most important thing a writer can do. You've got to have the right voice, both in the narration and especially in the dialogue. And yeah, and so like I've said already, I come back to a lot of his work, and the characters feel unique. They feel real, and I so dig that. It like engages me quickly. We have a discussion here going on between two African-American heroes from sort of different eras of heroing in the Marvel Universe. You know, one older hero who, like in the 1950s, 60s, the president asked him to stop being a hero because, you know, America couldn't handle a black Superman. And he did, and he quit. You know, whereas we got this other young guy who, you know, went to jail on, what was it, like wrongly accused. So you've got these two different characters like talking about their history and what the world has done to them and all. And it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. And this all happens while they're helping one of the heroes move into a new apartment. You know, so again, they keep it grounded while talking about some big things and giving unique, real voices to them. Really pretty cool. Things like this, again, there's just some good poetry to the way Ewing writes, I guess. We've got one character helping another sort of visualize the city of New York itself, you know, and it feels real, you know. Focus on home, on your family, on the building you live in, and every brick, every stone, every memory. It's compelling stuff it becomes. And I think I'm doing good on time, yes. Okay, good. So he's very good at writing voice, but I like to bring up this slide because I don't know what it is with these British writers, but my God, they've got some crazy imaginations. And they just get the weirdest stuff going on, like a telepathic, cross-galaxy conversation about the nature of love. It's amazing and phenomenal. And you've got these great lines like, you know, I'll give a quick setup. You've got one character who her like superpower is her ability to sort of push her emotions onto other people or make them feel emotions. And our other character is incapable of emotion. That's like part of her power. She just can't feel emotion. It doesn't click. These two are involved with another, and again, having this cross-galaxy telepathic conversation about love. And you've got things like, you know, that you're fascinating to me, and the warmth of your tail on mine is pleasant, and how you smell and 1,000 other things. You know, you make my life better by being in it. That's not something I feel or don't feel. It's objective, it just is. Is that love? I can't say. Goes on, and then things like, you know, we keep time by our own watches. We fly by our own stars. We are wonders. Oh! You know, comic books can do a lot. And I think a lot of times, you know, we overlook their potential. I didn't think, you know, in the past month I'd be learning about love from two space aliens talking to each other. But boy, it's good. So, again, so much of what Ewing's writing stands out to me for, that was really bad English there. A lot of what I like about him is his inventiveness, his power with words. We've got a great arc in Loki, where you've got a future self trying to kill a past self and ultimately finding forgiveness and redemption. And at the same point, too, they're also exploring the very nature of story and how humans work with the concept of story and telling stories and how that defines us. Very interesting stuff. And I think, please let the next one be what I want it to be. No, we're getting to it. Well, this one is neat too, because again, with his weird, crazy imagination, you've got things like Iron Man spitting on a computer to form a connection with it because he's got nanites in his body. So if I just spit on this machine, I'll have an electronic connection with it, and we can work together. Just, I guess I'm so impressed because, you know, while I might think of myself as a creative and I'm a photographer and I do things, I don't know where he gets these ideas, like Zombo, you smell a crime and I'm the deodorant. It is some crazy, crazy thing. And in the next slide, I confess, it's mildly vulgar, there's a but, just so you know. But the very brief stuff of this is you have Zombo. This guy right here is our hero of the story. This is a comic he had written for his British 2008 publishers. Zombo, for those who know Marvel Comics, is kind of like a Deathlock character, but it's a zombie, sort of a government agent who goes out and does things. But as might happen with zombies, Sometimes they get injured, or maybe they get shot in the head because somebody thinks, oh, it's a zombie, I can just shoot it in the head and kill it. So what happens, if you want to keep your government agent zombie going, how do you deal with the potential that people might shoot your zombie in the head? You put a second brain in its ass. and it just gets even more weird because then you find out that, the brain that's in its brain is its normal brain, but the brain that's in its butt is a young, wholesome Eric Rabinowitz, a nice, wholesome young man in the male stripper business. So you've got your regular weird thing going on, and then you've got a male stripper brain in the butt in case the first brain goes offline. Where does he get these ideas? I don't know, but my God, are they entertaining. And with his British stuff in particular, he's not afraid to sort of take some swipes at us, like there is a American leader who likes firing people. And this was published in 2015 or 14, I think it was. Kind of crazy. I was like, Al Ewing, you are ahead of the curve, my man. If you want just straight up fiction, his book, The Fictional Man, very, very interesting. That's all I'll say about that. Thank you. Good stuff. Do check it out. One of the other things that I do enjoy about Al Ewing, again, why you should be reading what Al Ewing is writing, is because of his pacing. As I mentioned earlier, there's this particular story where the world was ending. And these couple of panels are from a one-page sequence. And what I find so interesting about this is that it is a point of view sequence. The character is talking to us, and the world is ending. And I don't know if you can read it well, but this is the neat thing. There's my card. We were Avengers, you and I, the mightiest Avengers. Because in this particular book, people could be agents of the Avengers. So you could have your official Mighty Avenger card. And we were Avengers, you and I, the mightiest Avengers. Come on, next. And again, this sort of hope and power for the future that Ewing sort of puts in a lot of his books impresses me, At the end of the world, we all meant something. We all counted. Oh, and I'm very proud to die alongside you, my friend. Can you turn your head? And you're like, oh God, the world is ending. And can you turn your head? It really is quite a view. In one page, 5 panels, you have this beautiful little, what do you call it here, a little mise-en-scene? I don't know if that's the right word. This little vignette as the world is ending. So powerful stuff. So his ability to pace out these scenes. Here, another great sequence of pacing. 9 panels, only one person is talking, but again, just through head tilts and expressions, you can tell a lot of what's going on. Another good example of his ability to control pacing with his scripts is you've got another tale about the Inhumans that is jumping back and forth through different time eras, different characters, and really it's sort of almost I'd call it cubist scripting, because you're seeing things happen from many different angles, but only by reading it all through does it all sort of come together. Very challenging and very rewarding. Now let me just see where I'm at here. I want to keep on my own track here, Right? Oh yes. He gives me the feels, Ewing with a lot of his stuff. Yeah, like I said, he's got this emotional content that I think is quite amazing and does touch on topics that are current. I think this one obviously, to me, sort of feels like it's addressing some sort of immigration type things, The city's supposed to be a utopia, not some privileged little enclave where you have to be born here to count. He's not really pulling punches about what he's saying about things. And I think that's fabulous. This one's a little bit smaller, but I've had enough of guns. And what is also great in this, again, 2-issue series, this writer has been quite well known for his stories of Judge Dredd, another very big popular British character. And so they even incorporate in some sort of analogs of Judge Dredd. I gotta be down to 2 minutes or so, I bet now, right? Okay, gonna keep it going. Again, we've talked about the division in the States between ideologies. We've been projecting, letting an ideology blind us to reality, leading to some serious errors in judgment. There's things going on. At the same point, these characters sound unique and sound true to themselves. We got a character who was talking about how she wants her death to mean something. Oh my God! Now we got death don't ever mean anything. It's just some bleep that happens to you one day. Let's remember here, it's your life that means something. What you choose to do with it, that's what defines you at the end. It's powerful stuff. Powerful reminders for us. So ultimately, one of the things I do so very much enjoy about Al Ewing's writing is that a lot of it has this emotional content, and a lot of it is ultimately hopeful. I'm not going to go into this scene, but again, the pacing and the repetition of form and stuff is gorgeous. And I think I've got like one left here. Oh yes, another great thing. He's talking about fascism, you know. Where fascism gets its name from the Latin fascis, meaning bundle, except a bundle of sticks is only strong when firmly held. You know, let it be and it's just dead wood rotting down. Most people take the wrong lesson from that. Strength is not a bundle of sticks. Strength is a tree, and we're stronger when we can grow. Heck yeah. So whether he's telling cosmic stories or street-level adventures, he's got this persistence of hope. You know? It's strange, though. For the first time in a long time, I feel like there is hope. Like saving the world, saving the future is possible. We don't have to go back on who we are to do it. Let us be our highest selves. Let us be who we are. For all the weird stuff that Al Ewing puts into his stories, he makes compelling stories. There are surprises all over the place. There's crazy imagination, and it's hopeful. So that's why I think you should be reading what Al Ewing is writing. Thank you.